I'm going to tell you the story of Spirit's Homecoming, a 2016 South Korean period drama movie. This movie is set during the Japanese occupation of Korea in 1943, and tells you the story of a young girl, Jung-min, who are kidnapped and used as so-called comfort women along with other kidnapped girls. During their captivity, they all forced to perform sexual services to the soldiers of the Imperial Army. In the end, what really happened to them? Does they all freed from their miseries? Watch till the end to see the mind-blowing twist. There will be spoilers ahead, keep an eye out and be cautious. At the beginning of the movie, we see an elderly woman sews a garment in her room. In the distance we can hear a television, broadcasting an interview with an older woman, who is recounting her memories of Japanese soldiers mistreating her. When she hears this, the elderly woman, who was once a comfort woman, stops sewing and begins to recollect her old memories. We are then immediately transported to 1943 in South Korea, where a young girl named Jung-min is playing hide and seek with two other girls in a forest. While playing, they spot soldiers at the back of a military car passing in front of them. A frightening grin was given to them by one of the soldiers. During that period, people in Korea have a superstition about amulets that offer luck and protection. Jung-min isn't in possession of one, so she convinces her buddies into wagering their amulets, while she bets her rare taffies. She then wins the bet and receives the amulet. However, her mother takes it away from her and orders her to return it to her buddy. She also spanks Jung-min with a stick as a form of retaliation for stealing. Later that night, her parents spoke about their concerns for their daughter. The Japanese soldiers are forcibly removing people from their villages, and the majority of them will perish. Soon after, her mother remembers Jung-min's desire for an amulet and produces one for her. When Jung-min returns home after a walk, she notices her parents arguing with a bunch of soldiers. Her parents beg the troops to spare them, but the commander ignores their pleadings and continues to seize her, giving them just minutes to say goodbye and pack their clothes. Her mother then puts money in a pack of clothes and gives it to Jung-min, instructing her to use it in an emergency to pay for someone to fetch her home. She is then transported to a train, where she is joined by a large number of young girls, who have been removed from their families and have no idea where they are going. She then strikes up a conversation with a nervous girl standing next to her. Her name is Young-hee, a 15-year-old whose mother has died. Jung-min lies about her age, claiming to be 15, and the two become fast friends. Jung-min even gives Young-hee her amulet to carry on the travel. The train finally arrives in China after a lengthy journey, where they are hailed by Japanese forces stationed there. They are collected in a room in what appears to be an outpost, where a Japanese lady, Noriko, goes around asking the females for their ages, including Jung-min. Jung-min is carried to a room at the end of a hallway, where a doctor examines her private parts to ensure she is disease-free. After that, she is given a wash before being transported to a room. Soon later, a Japanese soldier enters the room and begins ordering Jung-min to do ridiculous things, until he eventually intends to have sleep with her. She tries to struggle, but the soldier knocks her out without hesitation, and she falls asleep while still being violated. The girls in the other rooms are shown to be mistreated in the same way, beaten and slapped without cause. A few days later, Korean guerrillas ambush Japanese soldiers in the field, but they are soon crushed and murdered due to the Japanese's superior weaponry. The next scene depicts Jung-min, who is weak and injured, laying on a bed. A soldier enters the room as her door opens. Jung-min is about to serve him when a soldier named Tanaka stops her and says she looks like his younger sister. Instead, he allows her to relax. Jung-min is so distraught at this stage that she can't even recall her own name. Days pass, and the girl's situation does not improve, as they are regularly violated and subject to unending physical violence on a daily basis. They are not only required to satisfy the desires of the Japanese soldiers, but they are also required to perform rigorous labor. One of the soldiers abandons the girls one morning, and Jung-min informs the girls that the war will soon be over, inspiring them to devise a plot to flee. Later on, Jung-min experiences a strong pain in her stomach and collapses to the ground. She is then taken to the doctor, where it is discovered that she is going through menstruation. She sees a corpse behind a bed curtain after waking up, and knows it's Manduk, one of the girls who hasn't been seen since the morning. Jung-min then starts crying. Jung-min encounters Tanaka a few days later, and he gives her a map of the camp to aid her escape. Jung-min, Young-hee, and two other girls assemble that night, and slowly make their way out of the camp and into the woods. However, the soldiers quickly notice that they are absent and begin searching for them. Unfortunately, one of them gets lost in the dark. The Japanese soon catch her and severely beat her up. The other girls who are attempting to flee feel sorry for her, and decide to surrender as well. The girls at the camp are then stripped, and abused for the rest of the night. In the morning, they order the escaped girl and several injured ones in a lorry, promising medical treatment in a bigger camp. However, in reality, they are actually brought to the woods to be slaughtered. Tanaka is ordered to execute them by the commanding officer, but when he refuses, he is shot in the head and burned alongside the girls. Japan faces a fresh dilemma 2 years later, when the atomic bombs are unleashed on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, forcing Japan to surrender. As a result, troops stationed outside of Japan are being recalled. Similar to previous executions, the females are driven to an open area, where they would be killed to eliminate traces and witnesses. Jung-min offers Young-hee her amulet, which her mother fashioned for her many years ago, to reassure her that she will be okay. Fortunately, the Japanese soldiers are attacked by Korean soldiers just as the execution begins, and a shootout ensues. Young-hee and Jung-min are able to flee to a nearby area. As they walk in tall grass, a wounded Japanese soldier tries to kill them. All hope seem to be lost until a Korean soldier saves them by shooting him. However, when Jung-min returns her gaze, she notices the fallen soldier leveling his gun at Young-hee. Jung-min leaps in front of Young-hee, and takes the shot as he pulls the gun. Sadly, Jung-min died as a result. Movie then fast forward to 1991, and a young girl named Yoon-kyung is taken to a shaman by her mother. Yoon-kyung is mute, and her mother desires for her to be healed. It is later discovered that Yoon-kyung possesses the capability to connect with the souls of those who have died. She goes into a store one day, with the goal of purchasing a hanbok. She notices the amulet that belongs to the store's old lady, who is actually Young-hee. Yoon-kyung is able to see Young-hee's past flashes before her eyes, and she offers Young-hee to bring Jung-min's spirit, so that Young-hee can finally let go and forgive herself. Jung-min comes in front of Young-hee during the ceremony, and Young-hee begins to apologize to her, but she eventually passes out due to her inability to manage her emotions. The film ends with the spirit of Jung-min finally returning to her former home. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Bye.